Hello everybody, and today I have the really strong and really unknown and frankly a little devious trap. Today I have the Squidward Trap for you. So it comes after white plays pawn to e4 and we respond with pawn to d5 in the Scandinavian defense, at which point white is going to capture us, and we don't actually recapture immediately like we normally do in the Scandinavian, but we instead play knight to f6. This is the modern variation, and what we're doing here is we're temporarily giving white their pawn. However, we're going to recapture our knight on the next move with a good position, and white has a lot of options here, namely knight to f3 or pawn c4 or knight to c3. However, white's objectively best move here is pawn to d4, just getting a strong pawn in the center and saying that, well, I'm not going to be able to defend this pawn anyway, so I might as well let you have it now, at which point we're going to happily capture on d5, and now white's best option here and most common is pawn to c4. Getting a second pawn in the center, and our knight is attacked, and here we're going to set the trap, not by meekly dropping back to a boring f6 or a putrid b6, but instead we're going to play the move knight to b4. This is the aggressive keel variation, but it is not the engine's favorite. What white should do here is play pawn to a3, just immediately attack our knight, and we're going to have to drop it back to c6, and now white should play pawn to d5, and white here is just going to have a small advantage because they have a very strong pawn center that we cannot really match here. So because of that, that is their best option. However, the extremely common trap here is for white to play the move queen to a4 check. And what white is saying here is they're just saying, well, you're getting forked. You cannot defend both pieces, and that might be true because after we play knight 8 to c6, blocking the check and defending this other knight, white can try the move pawn to d5 here. And they are attacking our knight, but the problem is we can't actually move it out of the way because of this very nasty pin here. However, here we are winning with the incredible shot pawn to b5. I kind of imagine this move as Squidward's nose, and we'll get more into this afterwards, but first, a little side trap that may be even more incredible than the main one. That being, in this position, white delays the move d5 and first plays pawn to a3. Attacks our knight, and we're going to back it up to a6 here, and now white tries pawn to d5. Once again, attacking our knight, and they have the same pin situation here, and we're going to play the move knight to c5. We're attacking the queen, and white might not even realize it, but we are actually setting an extremely incredible trap here. What white should do to retain their one pawn or so advantage is back their queen all the way up to d1, but that is a very hard move to make, and unless you know that beforehand, you're very likely to not play that. What most people do here is play queen to b5. A very logical move. They are retaining this pin as well as attacking our c5 knight, but here we win with the incredible pawn to e5. This is an incredible tactic. What we're doing here is we are defending this knight, that way it cannot be captured, and after white captures on c6 here, we play the beautiful and quiet move, the only winning move, pawn to b6. This is why I love chess. Extremely quiet moves, and white has literally no way to prevent the inevitable pawn to a6, where their queen is going to be trapped. So after they play like bishop to e3 here, we just go pawn to a6. Their queen is trapped. If they capture in c5, I mean, they're just resigning to fate. We just capture the queen. We're completely winning. If they try to back it up to b4 here, then this is also not working because we now have the very nice knight to d3, a check, a fork, and a discovered attack. We call that a Chadork. Yeah, that's a Chadork right there. They capture, we capture the queen. Yeah, we're just completely winning here. They capture, we capture their bishop. Yeah, so that is a very nice little side trap that white may, not as commonly, but they may fall for. But now let's get back into the main trap, which is in this position, playing pawn to d5, attacking our knight, taking advantage of this pin here, but we go for the incredible move, pawn to b5. e5, and we are now borderline winning here. Engine's not quite convinced yet, but you are going to be convinced in just a little bit. And also, like I said, I imagine this as kind of like Squidward's nose, just a pawn that doesn't really belong here. Why is it so big? Why is it up there? But white has to make a very important and vital decision here. They have to capture the b5 pawn. Any other move would just not be a really good try at all. And they have to decide whether with the pawn or with the queen. Capturing the queen is not the stronger option because now they allow knight to c2 check, and we do get this fork, but it is not nearly as simple as it seems. After white moves over, most likely to d1, to attack our knight, we actually cannot capture the rook immediately. I mean, we can, but it's not very good because now they capture on c6, and after bishop to d7, and queen to a6, we only have a very slight advantage here because we're only up a 1 point of material, and our knight is still trapped in the corner, which can get very, very hairy. So because of that, we're instead going to play the move bishop to d7, and this is the only winning move here. We are preventing white from immediately capturing with their queen, and white has a couple of tries. They cannot capture our knight here on c2 now. We have a very nice knight to d4, and once again we actually get a, what was it, a Chidork? Yeah, we have a very nice Chidork tactic once again, a discovered check fork. That's very nice. If they try to capture on c6 with their pawn, we actually do not capture back with our bishop because even though we do get this and we're going to end up winning the queen, they can capture on c2, and after captures, we actually do not have enough material in return, and it's basically an even position where we have a slight advantage. Instead, the winning move here is bishop to g4 discovered and double check. After the capture on c2 here, we play queen into d1, king moves to c3, now we capture on c1, it's just very bad, they're likely to keep running to b4, now we capture on b2 with check, they have to run again, and after we capture on a1, we're just up only 2 points of material, but you'll see the engine is giving -9 because white's king is on a5. Their position is absolutely god awful. So because of that, we are just completely winning here. Their only other try in this position will be something like bishop to d2 or some other developing move. At which point, now we're going to play knight 6 to d4, just get this knight here into the center and not being attacked anymore. After we move the queen over, now we capture on a1, and we are winning in this position. We're up a lot of material, and we have a great position. So, that is why they cannot really capture on b5 their queen, but now let's get into their main try, which is capturing on b5 with their c-pawn. Now here we have the very nice move, knight to d4. We are trying to get our knights into c2. Notably, they cannot capture here because now we have a royal fork. The king and queen are forked. Yeah, we're winning. So white's only real try here is knight to a3 to defend the c2 square, at which point we might not be completely winning here. However, I'll show you how we can get a much better position and potentially they can still lose. Here we're going to play the move pawn to e5. Striking in the center and anchoring this knight, as well as defending this one. However, more importantly than all that, we're actually going to move our queen potentially to h4 on the next move. I'll show you how that can pan out. Firstly, what white should do here is to capture on e6 en passant. Now we're going to capture back for the bishop, and after something like bishop to e2 and bishop to c5, we might not be completely winning here. However, we have a very large advantage because we have much better development. White's position is really underdeveloped. Their king is still stuck in center. Meanwhile, we're going to castle safely, and we just have a great game here. However, the most common move in this position out of the 200 or so games is bishop to d2. Attacking this knight here, at which point we are not going to meekly defend it like some loser. We're instead going to play the extremely cool and very nice move, queen to h4. This move looks nonsensical at first, but the idea here is that we're lining up against white's queen across the entire board. First off, they cannot capture on b4 here because after we capture back and they capture, we now have the very nice taking advantage of this discovery, knight to f3, a check, and this discovered attack. So after they capture, we capture the queen, and yeah, we're just completely winning here. Do note that knight to f3 check is the only move. Knight to c2 check sadly does not work, because even though we would get a very nice discovered attack fork, you could call that a the scork, it doesn't work because white can recapture the knight and the queen is defended. So that is one try for white that does not work at all. Their only other try here would likely be bishop to c4, but now we win here with another incredible tactic, knight to d3 check, and white is lost. If they move their king over, this doesn't work. Queen takes an f2 checkmate. If they move their queen over to here, then now knight takes on b2. They get forked once again. That is not very good. And if they try to capture back with their bishop, then now once again we take advantage of this discovery with knight to f3 check. Knight captures, now you take their queen across the entire board, a kind of reversed ICBM trap, and once again, you are not maybe completely winning here, but you have a very large advantage. You are up material, and even though white does have a lot of pieces in return for their queen, you just have a superior position. You're going to go bishop to e6, play bishop to g4 potentially, and castle, and you just have a fantastic position here where you might not be completely winning, but you have a very large advantage. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video on the extremely famous Squidward Trap. I hope you have a fantastic day. Like and subscribe for videos like this, and I will see you next time.